Pruning fruit is one of the most important tasks that should be done during the fall or winter, but this operation should also be done during the summer in the form of summer pruning. The purpose of pruning is to bring the branches of a fruit tree into a favorable position, thinning, preventing damage due to a large crop, controlling diseases, as well as some other reasons. When pruning, branches are removed that close the crown and shade other branches, such as those you can see here, but also those that often go vertical through the crown itself. Those branches that have a horizontal position are more desirable, so we will use this rule when choosing the branches that we will cut. Most often, these vertical branches are useless in the first year and do not produce a crop, but at the same time, they take food from the plant and close the central space in the crown of the fruit tree. Branches that interfere with soil cultivation around the fruit tree or when mowing the grass should be cut. All branches that are located in the lower part of the fruit tree should be removed. Of course, the difference is also in the method of cultivation. If we are talking about plantation cultivation, then it is desirable that there are also lower branches. And in hobby fruit growing, the first branches are approximately 70 centimeters high or a little higher. Before we show you a few examples of how to prune an apple tree, we will also mention what is desirable to do before the winter period. This is hoeing and fertilizing fruit trees. In order to prevent or slow down the growth of weeds around the tree and enable better absorption of nutrients and moisture, we will dig up the soil around the fruit tree. We can do this every year in the fall. It is not necessary to go deep so as not to damage the roots, but if some surface roots are damaged, it will not be a problem. When digging the soil, we add fertilizer to the area around the fruit trees. First of all, these are manure and mineral fertilizers that contain a large amount of potassium and phosphorus. Any manure is useful because it enriches the soil with natural nutrients, and in addition, living organisms enter the soil. They have a positive effect on the further decomposition of matter, but also break down the compacted soil structure. This is very important for the development of the plant's root system. It is really difficult to overdo it with adding manure, but you should add as much as can be mixed with the soil. We will not add manure near the trunk to avoid damaging the bark of the fruit tree. Along with the manure, we will also add mineral nutrients with the NPK formulation of 7-20-30. Any nutrient in which the second two numbers are the largest is good to give at this time. It is only important that the first number is smaller because it represents nitrogen, which is not needed during the dormant phase, but moves quickly in the soil, so it should be added in the spring when vegetation begins. And when we have added all the nutrients, we will mix everything well and the fertilization is complete. When pruning fruit trees, we will pay attention to the place where we cut the branches. This is important so that the fruit tree can easily close the wounds caused by pruning. The cut itself should always be on the opposite side of the bud and at an oblique angle. When pruning an apple tree, as with other fruit trees, we need to have a vision that will guide us when shaping the crown of the fruit tree. First, it is necessary to decide on a growing form that most accurately defines the method of cultivation. If it is a plantation, then the shape of a slender spindle is most often adopted. In this case, we form the crown around the main conductor or trunk that will carry the entire crown. Around it, we will arrange the branches that will bring us a crop in the following year. We will remove and thin out these branches that are inside of the trunk and shade each other. In the following years, they will direct themselves towards a horizontal position under load. That means that we will form the branches spirally moving around the fruit tree so that we get branches at different heights while having some distance between them. We will remove every branch that grows upwards from the laid branches because they are mostly water drinkers. If we have to choose between two branches on one branch, we always choose the one that is more laid down and we sharpen the ones that are more vertical. Branches that are in the lower part of the fruit trees and are close to the ground should be removed for several reasons. Fruits that would be formed close to the ground may be damaged or of lower quality, but the branches themselves are on the way when working the soil as well as maintaining the space around the fruit tree. If we are going to dig up the soil around the fruit tree, the branches interfere with the cultivation, and if the area around the fruit tree is mowed, then those branches interfere with the mower, so we will remove such branches. We usually remove such branches up to a height of about 70 centimeters, while lower branches can be allowed in the case of intensive cultivation of fruit trees. For good crown formation and growing shape, in addition to good pruning, it is also necessary to bend the branches in the most appropriate direction if necessary. Here we can see a branch growing in the direction of the conductor, that is vertically, and we will remove it. Above it, we have a branch that is directed toward another branch, which is not desirable. Any crossing of branches is not desirable, and we will thin these branches or cut them off completely. When pruning, it is recommended to completely remove the branches and not shorten them, which often leads people to not cut everything they should. However, any pruning is better than abandoning the fruit tree and leaving a large number of branches. As we already said, when choosing the branches to be pruned, we should choose branches evenly from all sides of the fruit tree, so we will try to distribute all these branches evenly. We will remove those branches that are close to other branches. This branch, although it intersects with another branch, has a beautiful branch with a flower bud on it, so we will let it develop, but we will cut it short. In any case, we can make a correction later if its position doesn't suit us. After thinning the branches, we will still have to shorten the main guide, which we shorten to a height that we can reach. Here we choose the height at which the fruit will be. All other branches should be lower than that height. This fruit tree develops very intensively and has quite strong shoots, and so it is at the top. After last year's shortening of the guide, several shoots grew on the top and they need to be removed. When cutting the top, several top buds had to be removed and only one left. We will cut off those shoots that are excess and we will leave one, and we will cut the remaining branches. Most of these branches should be directed to the side and not allowed to grow upwards. This time we will leave only one top bud on the guide. With this, the pruning is complete. However, the pruning itself is not the same for every fruit tree. Every fruit tree has something that makes it different from the others, so each fruit tree needs to be approached differently. However, in all of this, the principles and goals of pruning are important. We remove all the branches that pass through the interior of the crown. We thin out the branches so that the fruit tree has an even distribution of branches on all sides. We shorten the branches on the higher levels and those in the lower part of the crown remain longer. Any mistake that is made can be corrected over time, so that without fear you need to get into this job and do it. Over time, you get into a routine and this job becomes easier. If you have any additional questions, feel free to write to us in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends on social networks. In the end, we just want to thank you for all of your support. We hope that in the future we will always be available at the right time with useful information that is needed at that very moment. We hope that you will write to us and share where you're following us from, what varieties of apples and other fruit trees you grow. Write to us about other topics that interest you. We will also focus on other fruit species. Videos about pruning pears, plums, cherries, and other fruit trees are already being prepared. And also don't forget about the protection of fruit trees. It is very important, and now is the right time to do the first treatment against the diseases. We talked about this a few days ago, so if you haven't already watched the video, look for it on the channel. Thank you very much for all of your support and hope to see you again on our channel.